Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. Bitcoin is funding big growth in the hedge funds that are brave enough to go out there and get themselves a slice of that pie for their portfolio. Sanctions are pushing more and more players into the waiting arms of Bitcoin, and the Ethereum ecosystem continues to grow. Also, today you're going to have another chance to win a Trezor Model T valued at 160 US dollars. All you have to do is comment on this video saying that you want to win a Trezor. So you now have 3 chances in total to win. Comment on today's video, comment on yesterday's video, or go over and retweet on Twitter. The winner will be announced here on the channel on Monday. A big thank you, of course, to the guys over at Exodus and Trezor for making this giveaway possible in celebration of them teaming up to offer user-friendly security for your crypto assets by being able to now access and to trade coins directly from your Trezor by using the Exodus wallet. To be in to win, remember to check out the link in the description down below where you can download the Exodus wallet. Just a mention as well that this is not a referral link, guys, and that this is not a sponsored giveaway. This is just a sweet promo for you guys to have a chance to win a hardware wallet to keep your crypto safe. So the first story of the day, Bill Miller's hedge fund surged 46% this year thanks in part to investing in Bitcoin and Amazon and a few other stocks too. But his hedge fund includes Bitcoin, which is awesome. Well, Miller says that he is not a true believer in our ways. He does like Bitcoin and he thinks that it is a strong, non-correlated asset that is an important part of a portfolio. And obviously it has done very well for his hedge fund so far this year. And I'm sure that there are many more stories like this that are simply not being reported on. Just hedge funds that are out there quietly investing and quietly riding the Bitcoin Express. At this point, it would almost seem irresponsible for a hedge fund to not at least have something like 1% of their portfolio into Bitcoin. According to a new report from the guys over at Grayscale Investments, 21 million US investors now consider Bitcoin as an investment grade opportunity. Now remember what I said about Coinbase the other day passing 30 million users? It's very interesting, isn't it? Because there no longer exists enough Bitcoin for every interested investor in the United States to have one. And there's not enough Bitcoin for every Coinbase user to have one. And of course, when we start to consider all the lost Bitcoin, then it really makes it seem much more scarce. Really, it's not enough Bitcoin for any of these people to even have half of a Bitcoin. And Wall Street's going to need tens of thousands of Bitcoin to underwrite all of their futures products that they're offering this year and next year. And that's just the USA, guys. And that's the tip of the iceberg for the USA. We see local Bitcoins is continuing to see high volumes in regions that are underserved by more major exchanges. Places like Argentina and Colombia continue to set new volume highs. Japan, of course, remains a strong and vibrant crypto market, with the yen continuing to account for the second highest fiat volume against Bitcoin. Bitcoin is already scarce, guys, and it's only getting scarcer. But we're lucky because not enough people actually know about Bitcoin yet, or they haven't taken the leap to buy it. But with continued quantitative easing in most major jurisdictions and continued political dysfunction taking place in most major jurisdictions, we are seeing more and more people waking up to the reality of what Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies offer for people. And of course, the more people that figure that out, the more people are going to want it, and the higher the price is going to go at some point. Stack sats and chill, my friends. 1 million Satoshis is still around 100 US dollars today. A few $100 into Bitcoin could actually be life-changing in 10 years. The same way that a few $100 into Bitcoin was life-changing for those who bought it 10 years ago. We are still relatively early in the price discovery phase of Bitcoin. And you do not need to own one whole Bitcoin to get your moon ticket, guys. So, Bitcoin and sanctions. Yeah! We've had so many stories this year about countries using Bitcoin to work around US-led sanctions. Now look, guys, if you have strong political opinions on countries like Russia and Venezuela and Iran, cool, I get it. But, like it or not, This is proving the power of Bitcoin to disrupt the international financial order. A company called Soyuz-Mash, or the Union of Machine Builders in Russia, has asked the Central Bank of Russia for permission to accept Bitcoin and stablecoin payments for weapons deals. The reason they are asking for permission, of course, as they cited, is to evade US sanctions. Now look, guys, I am not excited at all by arms companies using Bitcoin to circumvent sanctions. I honestly wish that people would just stop murdering each other for resources and power and all this political ideological BS. But it's 2019, and here we are, and people are still doing it, so you got that. It's, of course, also ironic that the US, via the sanctions regime, is actually forcing so many nations and companies who otherwise probably would never have had any interest in Bitcoin to start accepting and using cryptocurrencies. And of course, we have to see this for what it really is. In the big picture, this is economic warfare versus these countries. One of the reasons that the vice president of the arms manufacturer listed was that the sanctions were making it more difficult for his company to compete in the international markets. And the arms business is big business. The number one seller globally of arms is the United States, controlling a massive 36% of the market. The number two seller is Russia at 21%. Very convenient that the US would put sanctions on a direct competitor for that market. Now, if you are of the opinion that, of course, Russian arms manufacturers should be sanctioned because they sell weapons to people that you don't like, then I would also ask you to question your feelings about countries like the US selling weapons to Saudi Arabia to continue the Yemeni genocide. It's all whacked, guys. People selling weapons to kill other people. What have our society come to? We have to accept that when it comes to selling the tools of death, that it's all about money, guys. It's all about who controls what and who gets what percentage of the market share. It's a sick, sick game. It's 2019 and we're still behaving like barbarians. It's nuts. But Bitcoin is making it possible for players on the receiving end of sanctions to have a workaround. I just wish it was for something other than weapons of death. Anyway, Russia is not the only one using Bitcoin to circumvent US sanctions this week. The government of Venezuela has announced that apparently they are using Bitcoin to bypass US sanctions by collecting airline taxes from international travelers entering the country. The actual implementation of this is handled by a third-party company, which basically converts the fiat into Bitcoin, which is then sent to Venezuelan government accounts abroad. Again, you don't need to like Venezuela to recognize the power of what Bitcoin is doing. Let's move on to a more benign story coming out of Croatia, where the National Post Service is launching an exchange which will enable locals to sell their cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Stellar, Ripple, and EOS, for local fiat. Nice. Interesting, of course, that they are not offering a buying service at this time, but I honestly think this is still overall good for adoption. And of course, it's excellent to see another major agency like a National Postal Service actually getting into the crypto game. Now, moving just across the Adriatic to San Marino, the tiny nation is teaming up with vechain to help the nation achieve its goal of becoming the first carbon neutral country. With the help of vechain, San Marino will be issuing utility tokens to its citizens as rewards for doing simple tasks like using less water or better managing their waste or cutting emissions down. The token will then be redeemable for different local services and payments to the government, for example. Pretty cool stuff overall. So over in Ethereum land, the German Financial Market Supervisory Authority has approved the country's first blockchain-based real estate bond. The bond will be available to both retail and institutional players and will represent the tokenization of commercial real estate property across Germany's main cities. The total valuation of these bonds is at 250 million euros. The company expects to pay investors an annual dividend between 4 to 7% each year until July 2033. Dividends can be received in either Ethereum or in fiat. That's a pretty damn big story, guys. And honestly, this is just the beginning of what I expect will be many more similar announcements of equally massive tokenization of real estate and other assets on top of the Ethereum blockchain, and of course on other blockchains as well. In the USA, the SEC has given a no action letter to a company called Pocketful of Quarters, which essentially clears the way for them to distribute their tokens legally on their platform. Pocketful of Quarters is a gaming company which will issue the stablecoin token that they're offering to players and developers in their gaming ecosystem. The token will run, of course, on top of Ethereum. However, the token does have very strict rules governing it, as it will only exist in the gaming ecosystem. It will not be tradable on third-party exchanges. A new report by crypto primary dealer SFox has found that throughout July anyway, Ether had a much lower correlation with altcoins and a markedly higher concentration of correlation with Bitcoin. Now, if this trend were to continue, of course, that's a big if with Ethereum right now, Ethereum may no longer be classed as an altcoin. Okay, sure, some Bitcoin maximalists may never simply accept that Ethereum can be anything of its own, it can never be more than an altcoin. But wow, we really need assets like Ethereum to start cutting their own path here, guys. I think that when Ethereum 2.0 goes live, we will really see Ethereum break out and start to move much more independently of Bitcoin and to really start making a lot more of its own waves in the market past the limited hype of the ICO buzz back in 2017. And moving into Ethereum 2.0, there's a lot of new ideas and innovation being brought forward all the time, like the MAD stores, which is an anonymous and decentralized marketplace that leverages Ethereum smart contracts in order to avoid needing a backend server. Kind of something like eBay, but with your blockchain address being the only thing known about the seller and the buyer. And just for fun and security, of course, mutually assured destruction. So if a party on either side of the deal tries to scam the other person, then both users' escrowed funds will be burned. Not sure how I feel about that, but it's interesting. Then there is Tornado Mixer, which is backed by ZK Snark's privacy technology, basically enabling completely private transactions on Ethereum. Currently, it's only on the testnet, but innovation is happening. This is kind of just the tip of the iceberg of some of the different innovations going on over at Ethereum right now. Decentralized finance on Ethereum is going to be massive. Anyone counting out Ethereum at this stage, you're not paying attention, guys, because Ethereum, if they get this upgrade right, is going to be massive. Anyway, just my two Satoshis, guys. You will let me know what you think about any of these stories or anything else down below in the comment section, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for watching today's video. You guys, seriously, I love you all. You guys rock. Really, really. It's a pleasure and an honor every day getting out here making videos for you guys. It's great. I love my life. Anyway, besides the point, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell to know when I put out a new video. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.